So Neil's been off running errands in the Fancy Bike World van, that's why I've got his ratty old thing there. I haven't told him what's happening today, but I've got a surprise for him, and I don't think he's going to like it. Hello mate.
Good morning.
You alright?
I'm alright.
You got any idea what's going on?
I always get nervous when you invite me up to yours and don't tell me anything other than bring riding kit. Go on, what's happening?
Get out the van, I've got a treat for you. You'll like this. You've been on the Monster Energy, you're going to need that.
No, no.
Neil, you might not remember, but I reckon it must have been a year and a half ago, something like that. I got drunk with Nick Sanders and bought a sidecar off him. I totally forgot about it until this week. So
no.
Me and you today, you know the Meteor, the Royal Enfield?
Of course.
You love that bike.
I love that.
So we're going to bolt a sidecar to it.
Why ruin it?
Because I read this on the internet. I googled. So I
Okay.
googled sidecars, right?
Yeah.
This is what I read, and this is what inspired me. A sidecar is an optional accessory for your motorbike. Okay, by giving you increased passenger and luggage space, the right sidecar can help you fulfill dreams of taking your closest friends and family on great motorcycle getaways.
Amazing.
Doesn't that inspire you?
It inspires me to ride the thing, not passenger the thing.
Well, we'll come to that later. We'll have to do some sort of forfeit. But yeah, it's not in tip-top condition. But as Basil 40 said, it could be used in an emergency. So we're going to unearth this thing.
Amazing.
I have been in touch with the guys at Watsonian Sidecars. So I have got some knowledge.
Brilliant.
Not enough. But I reckon we drag it out, bolt it to the Meteor and see what happens.
You can see how enthusiastic I am.
Come on.
Oh,
Come on,
Chris. Honestly.
Even I'd forgotten how bad it looked.
Oh, wow. Oh, no.
This has been across the Americas. It'll be fine. What do you think? Are you excited? It's all there. Look, it's got racks for carrying. Yeah, racks for carrying. I don't know what they're for. It came with a mallet. Look at that. That's for presumably
makes it
close
all
to the boot.
worthwhile. Perfect. Firstly, I'm not fitting in that seat.
Look at the moss.
What's living in there? There's something living in there.
You in about 3 hours.
No.
Not very fast. Something fell off. So I must admit, when I first clapped eyes on the beauty that is sat here beside me, I fully intended just to pick it up out the farm, make my own welded on brackets and bodge it to whatever bike sat still long enough. After speaking to a couple of people, they kind of educated me that that probably wasn't the safest thing to do and it can end really, really badly. So I did cheat a little bit. I went and visited the guys at Watsonian Sidecar. So they're based in England. So we went and visited them for a couple of reasons. One, to get a bit of a handle on how to bolt these to a bike, and actually it turns out they do a fitting kit, which made our life a lot easier. And two, to have a bit of a sidecar riding lesson, because it's not as straightforward as I thought. So Neil, I'm compiling you a special educational video on the ins and outs of sidecars. And to do that, we've come to Watsonian Squire, who are the kings of sidecars. They build them, they fit them, and they'll teach you how to ride them. So pay attention, because you're going to need to know all of this in the next couple of hours. Ben from Watsonian is here to give us a little bit of a lesson about what we're going to need to know in order to fit them.
Right, so the ease or complication of sidecar fitting really depends very much on the bike that you fit into. So ideally what we want is a bike that's got a traditional type frame, it's got a cradle frame and tube type frame arrangement rather than box section. Ideally it's got to have a frame that goes down underneath the engine and a good front down tube. A lot more modern bikes are using the engine as a stress member, so most modern BMWs are really difficult to fit to, and we've got to add a complicated subframe to them. But in broad terms, you've got to have at least four fittings on the bike. Sometimes with big heavy sidecars and big heavy bikes we put a fifth arm on, as high up and as far forward as possible, as high up and as far back as possible for the two upper ones, and same for the low ones, so as low as you can get, as far forward and far back, so you're really spreading the loads through the bike frame.
So what you're looking for is it's basic physics really, but you're trying to make sure your mounting points are as far apart as possible so the bike doesn't have too much leverage and you can't end up with the whole thing collapsing in on itself is the aim then.
Riding a Sidecar outfit, it's all about steering it, not leaning it. If you start moving your body weight around, it's going to have no bearing on the direction you're going at all. So the important thing is you keep your head up, look where you want to go, and actually put the effort into the bars to move the bike where it wants to go. So I'll take you around, I'll let the bike do what it wants to do, and then I'll show you how you overcome it. We'll do a couple of laps and then you can jump in the hot seat.
It's amazing, you don't have to worry about the gravel like you would on a road solo. I can split the pothole. There we go. Feel like I'm on my driving test again. So they turn tighter to the left than to the right then, by quite a way. Yeah, wow. Feels like there's less resistance turning left than there is turning right. Is that because you're not pulling the chair? Yeah. Honestly, it is definitely different. It's not like riding a motorcycle in the corners at all, but it doesn't. I don't know. I guess there's an air of familiarity. You're on a motorbike. You've got a clutch and a throttle, and I guess that's the dangerous bit. Is if you drop into old habits while you're mid-ride, suddenly your chair's in the bushes and, and you've fallen over on a corner. But it's really fun, and as Ben was saying, there's some extra elements of amusement to be had because you've got a chair on the outside, the bike's super stable, so when you find some gravel or a slippery corner, you can actually play with it a bit and slide the chair a little bit, which is actually quite good fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to putting some more miles on and getting my head around it, and definitely looking forward to terrorising Neil, but cut that bit of the video, don't show him that.
So what's the plan? Where do we start?
On this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you start? It's a big old job. It's not an afternoon, is it?
Well, it's lunchtime now. This thing, to be fair, this thing does really need tearing apart, repowder coating, and restoring to some sort of form of glory. But we're not going to do that. That's a job, and we'll do that. But right now, there's still warm enough weather for playing on it, so I want to get it bolted to the Meteor. I've never ridden my own sidecar. I had one little go at Watsonian, so I do know how to ride them. It's terrifying, but really good fun when you get the hang of it. So I think let's get this carefully assembled onto.
You were going to say lashed up to the Meteor then.
Let's get it bolted on the Meteor. Scrape some of the moss out. You can get in the chair.
No. We'll sort that out later. But
yeah, let's get it bolted on, pump the tyres up, and go and have some fun.
A few cable ties, bit of tape.
I'm excited already. Look at that. You can't argue. That does look cool.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It looks interesting.
Let's put our first. Whoa!
First bit of the puzzle.
First piece of the puzzle. That's probably right.
Yep, done.
I don't think we've got it spot on. Right, I'm going to try and fit one to the front now. Do you want to lift that back up?
And we're actually level now. I told you that'd happen.
Yeah, that's in the wrong place. We've done that wrong now. We should have followed the instructions.
So it goes down the bottom,
It goes on that bottom bar, yeah.
Is it solid?
It's not rocket science,
It can be, can it?
but it is. There's some things that matter. So first thing, we've got all the clamps on now. The proper way to do this is to take the body off, line the chair and the bike up perfectly first, and then start putting clamps on.
So
We've done it the wrong way around. So what we've done is we've bolted everything on loosely, and now we're going to try and fight and wiggle it into place. So we have to measure the wheelbase, spindle to spindle,
that way,
front to back, without you leaning on forks.
You go on the important end. I'll go on the stupid end.
Are the handlebars straight?
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe try doing it with your tongue out.
3, 8.5. Right. 5 and 5 is 10. That's 10. 8 and 8 is 16. That's 17.
Even
16,
when the video's
17.
out, people will be able to write in the comments the right answer.
3, 6, 7. That's a 7. And 1 and 1 is 2. 2, 7, 7, 0. So, bloody hell, that is embarrassing. That's because I'm tired.
You watch this. This is going to be bang
400
on.
millimetres. So it's got the whole shebang has got to go backwards.
Oh, tools.
It's assembled. It's not exactly as per Watsonian specifications. We may have just thrown it together in a hurry because we were excited. But all we got to do now is fix the tyre, and then we can give it a test spin around the farm. Off.
No, get in there.
No.
You get in there.
Right. I knew this was going to be an argument, so we haven't got.
I'm already sat on.
We're not drawing straws. We're drawing cable ties. You draw first.
You.
Get in the chair.
This might be an ordeal in itself.
This is going to be great. They are quite tight to get into. So
Are they?
Get them a wiggle. You've got to kind of get your legs forward. That's it. You're doing a lovely job. And then wiggle, wiggle.
Flipping out. I get your shin and everything. The seat's off.
We haven't bolted the seat in. There we go.
Oh, I don't know what that noise. I don't know what that noise was. That's the.
Don't worry too much about it. Put your helmet on. The first thing we do is go backward. That can't be a wise choice. Go on, little Enfield!
Oh God! It's wobbling! Are you doing that on purpose? Don't go down there, you dafty! Oh no, brilliant, off camber, just what we need.
Go on, Neil, it'll be fun.
Right, we're swapping over.
It's not too bad. I know we completely guessed at the geometry, but it's all right. It's riding reasonably straight at the moment.
I've started to hold on now, we're on the road, it's alright. Getting a bit of speed up now.
It's quite loud.
Yeah, it is quite loud.
It's so weird riding a motorcycle and having to think about where that side of you is.
I'm glad you're thinking about this side now.
I'm always thinking about you, Neil. Oh, there's a big bump here.
Oh.
But look, we can enjoy the view. We can even hold hands. Oh, I like this.
This is alright.
Get that out of the Dakar, Neil.
I did.
Just drop that one in there. We made it. We made it to the pub. That thing's brilliant, isn't it?
It does very, very strange things that it's going to take some time to get used to.
It definitely does.
or needs a tweak here or there.
I don't know that we got the geometry spot on, and as well, I think everything's accentuated. That bike's on super soft trials tyres from when we did the Lambs and trial on it. So
Yeah.
everything that a sidecar normally does that's a bit odd is like doubled by the sway. It's like a little dancing motion down the road.
And
It's good,
definitely
though.
needs setting up for the rider because it was a little. I think it was a little bit different when I was riding it and just sat there.
Honestly, I haven't giggled that much on a motorbike ride in a long time.
Right-hand corners are okay.
Left-handers are terrifying on that setup. But time for a pint. I do owe you a beer because I
Thank
said
you.
pop up for 5 minutes. I got a quick job for you, and it's now 7 o'clock at night.
Dark.
But that thing has been an absolute blast. Massive thanks to the guys at Watsonian because without them we definitely would have broken ourselves. They've helped us out with the kit and the advice. Gonna go back now, do a bit more setup on it, sort the lighting out, and then time for an adventure.
I can feel something in the air. I think something's coming.
Mate, you've done Dakar. This will be easy.
I'm not doing Dakar in that.